10 factors to consider while choosing a location for starting your poultry farm. Stick around, I also have a bonus tip for you. So if you want to start a poultry farm, you don't just wake up and, just walk and go and choose a place and you're like, I'm going to put my poultry structure here. It's very important that you look out for particular things. That way you're going to avoid trouble in the future. These factors are not in any particular order, but consider them all very important. Why? Because depending on wherever you're located, some of the factors are going to affect you more than others. So you want to consider all of them while you're choosing a location for your poultry farm. Factor number one, and probably one of the most important, if the most important, proximity to the market. You don't want to start your poultry farm in a location which is too far from your market. Yeah? If you're too far from your market, you're going to incur a lot of costs transporting your produce, whether they are the birds themselves or the eggs or the chick, to your market. And that simply means that people who are located closer than you are going to have an advantage over you because, the people can easily access them. No one wants to spend a lot of money just to go buy the eggs or to go buy the chickens, okay? So if someone is closer, they're going to be favored over you. And second thing, you're also going to spend a lot of money transporting your goods from your farm to your market. Factor number two, access to the road. Yeah. So you don't want your farm to be in a location where there's a very bad Maram road, okay? You're going to face problems right from construction. Your car is going to get stuck. Bringing materials, bringing feeds to the poultry farm is going to be a pain in the ass. And no one is going to want to come to your farm, yeah? Because their car might get stuck. People will refuse to deliver goods for you. People will refuse to deliver, supplies, to deliver feeds, to deliver construction material. You're going to have a hard time transporting your produce to the market because the road is horrible. So while choosing a location for your farm, whilst you don't want it to be right in the middle of the town, you don't want it to be too far away. Well, it can be far away, but it's important that you consider factor number one, proximity to the market, unless there's no one else in between there. And also, it's very important that you think about the road to your poultry farm. Number three, presence of utilities in the area. Things like electricity, things like water, yeah? While choosing a location for your poultry farm, make sure it's close to these utilities. You don't want to get to a place and then you'll have difficulties getting water. You have difficulties lighting up your poultry house. Remember that you need light inside the chicken house. You need light to provide security all around the structure. So if you're choosing a place where you don't have these utilities, you're going to have to use the alternatives, okay? And these alternatives might be too expensive. They might start feeding into your profit. So if you're going to use other alternatives like a generator, like, solar power, or, a borehole, think about how cheap or expensive it will be, because you don't want to go into all your profits because you have to buy fuel in order to fuel the generator. Number four, the topography of the area. Yeah, you need to be certain that the place you want to put your chicken structure on is a bit leveled. Yeah, why? Because if the structure is, on a hill and, very slanting, you're going to have to spend a lot of money during the construction of the chicken house because you have to level the structure. The poultry house is not going to be slanting, You need to make sure it's leveled. And if the place is on a hill and it's, very slanted, you have to dig out a lot of the soil. You're going to spend a lot of money leveling that place. So look for a location where the place is a bit flat. That way you'll get to save more. By the way, my name is Daniel, a practicing medical doctor who is very passionate about poultry farming. So if you're getting any value out of this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on anything. And don't forget to smash that like button. Number five, the direction of the wind. Now the direction of the wind is also very important because it affects three things. The order. Yeah. So if the direction of the wind blows in a direction which is such that the order of the poultry structure blows right into, your house or where people are staying, you're going to have a lot of trouble staying there because, truthfully speaking, the smell is not the best, okay? So you want to construct your structure in a place where the wind blows away from residences, where people live. Then the wind direction is also important for the stability of the structure. You don't want to construct your chicken structure in a place where winds are too strong. They're going to break down your poultry structure, yeah? And when you're starting out at the beginning, you don't have too much money. You have to use the little money that you have to construct the structure. It might not be the strongest. So you have to make sure that your structure is in a place where the winds are not too strong that they're going to just blow away your poultry structure. Then the winds also directly affect, the direction in which the rain will fall. Yeah. So as you might see on my poultry structure, when I was constructing it, the upper side, I put the wall all the way up because the winds come from, the upper side of the structure all the way down. So I had to put the wall all the way up because if I had left it open like the rest of the structure, the rains would come inside. So I considered the wind while I was putting up my structure. Number 6, the drainage or the slope, okay? So you don't want your structure to be in a place which is a swamp, a swampy place. I've had a problem with that. When I was putting up my structure on the upper section of the poultry house, water has been logging there recently. I just noticed recently. Water has been logging, and due to that, slowly by slowly, it seeps under the structure. And yesterday I was told that they found, the floor inside the structure wet. I know I put it up with concrete, but I think over time it has been weakened by that, and water slowly seeps into the poultry structure. So please don't make the same mistake that I made. You need to make sure your poultry structure is not in a place where water settles. You also need to consider the slope, of the place. You don't want to put your poultry structure in a place where the water is sloping towards. It's going to log there, and then you're going to have water flooding your poultry house, and you're going to get into all that trouble. So consider the slope and in which direction the water flows in order to avoid such problems. Number 7, the neighborhood. You have to think about the neighborhood if you're putting up your poultry structure because of 2 reasons. Noise. As you guys, I'm sure, can hear, these chickens are making noise, they're going to be making noise the whole time. If you're in a town setting, people don't want that noise, yeah? So it's better you choose your location to be, a bit outside, yeah? Well, a lot of people have farms. People who have farms don't give a damn about noise of chickens, yeah? Because they're used to having chickens. They also have chickens. They really don't care. They love this stuff, okay? So you want to put your poultry structure in a place which is a bit far from town. And then also the order, yeah? Same thing. People who live in villages or, a bit far from town, like as you can see, all around, all you can see is the poultry structure, banana plantations and all these kinds of stuff. There's a football pitch here. Then over there, again, there are more gardens. You can see a few cows. So these kinds of people who live here don't really mind the smell and the noise from the birds. But if you're living in a town, they really do care. They give a damn. So you have to think about that too. Number 8, the expansion plan. Yeah. So you probably have a dream of having 10,000 birds at some point. And at the moment, you only have the ability to, let's say, start with 500. Don't go and construct your structure in a place where you can probably only keep 500 birds. Because when you need to expand, you're going to have a lot of trouble expanding. You're going to have to probably demolish that structure, look for a bigger piece of land. So think about your future expansion plans. Despite the fact that you might not have the money right now, think about the expansion. Just like me, as you guys can see, over here is the poultry structure, and then all around me, there's a fence behind me, which I'm certain you can see, and then the fence goes behind those, banana plantations. So I thought about my expansion while I was putting up this structure. Yeah, I still have enough space to expand if I wanted to expand. So think about your expansion plan. Don't think small, okay? Don't get a very small piece of land when you know in the future you might want to have a very big farm. Number 9, the security. Security is very important. I can't stress how important that is. You want to think about security not just from human beings, but also from other animals, things like snakes, things like, monkeys and raccoons. Luckily, where we stay over here, there are no raccoons, there are no monkeys. But I know people who put their structures very close to monkeys, very close to raccoons. Those things are very wise, they are very sharp. Of course, you can protect against them by putting very strong wire mesh, good wire mesh that will prevent them from coming in. But again, if you can avoid it, just avoid it. Monkeys can come and, remove the wire mesh. They are very wise. Then also think about human beings stealing from your poultry structure. That is a real threat, yeah? Make sure the location of the farm is not too far. It's not too deep in a rural area where they can come and rob and, you'll scream and shout and no one will even be able to hear. Then if you can put a fence around your structure, that's also a very good idea. It protects against theft. Then number 10, the regulations of the area. There are some places where a poultry farm should be, a particular distance, let's say a certain number of meters from the road. Or a poultry farm should be a particular number of meters from a living or a residential area. Find out from your local authorities the the regulations and requirements. That way, in the future, you're not going to have a lot of trouble when, for example, after a month and you put up your structure and everything, guys come and they're going to break your poultry structure because you didn't follow the regulations of the area. So be certain to look up the regulations, look for the area leaders and let them give you information. And now the bonus tip, yeah? Many people don't think about it, but it's very important. How are you going to dispose of your manure, okay? Because these hens produce a lot of manure, yeah? So if you have gardens like I do over here, it won't be a problem, you know? We just get them out, take them into the gardens, and they provide very good fertilizers, yeah? But if you're in a more town setting, or, you know, think about it. Are you going to be selling the manure? Who are you going to be selling the manure to? How are you going to dispose of the manure? Very important that you think about this. So don't just wake up some random morning and you're like, I'm going to put a poultry structure here. No, think about these 10/11 things when you're choosing a location from a poultry farm. Yeah, I hope you succeed. Please come back next time for more videos on the channel. See you.